the general cognitive ability answer that sounds great, but fails the hiring committee member. Most candidates answer this question by narrating how they'd relay the bad news upward, and that's exactly the move that gets you a no hire. The question is, you are 6 weeks from a committed launch, and a key engineering team just told you they need 10 more weeks. Walk me through your response. This tests general cognitive ability, which at Google means structured thinking through ambiguous program trade-offs, not just organizational awareness. What the hiring committee member is actually listening for is whether you walk into the escalation as a decision maker with a recommendation or as a messenger with a problem. Here is how most candidates answer this 10-week blocker question, and it sounds responsible right up until it isn't.
First thing I do is get on a call with the engineering lead to understand exactly what changed and why they need the extra time. Once I have the full picture, I'd loop in my program manager and the stakeholders to make sure everyone is aligned on the situation. I'd put together a summary of the delay and present the options to leadership, things like descoping, slipping the date, or launching without that feature, and let them decide how they want to proceed. Throughout all of this, I'd make sure communication is clear and consistent so there are no surprises.
Defers the decision to leadership rather than arriving with a recommendation. No evidence of separating the stated blocker from the real technical root cause. Treats this as a communication problem, not a program ownership problem. No options structured with trade-offs, just a list handed upward. Here is what I am writing in the debrief right now. Item 1. Arrived at escalation with options, not a recommendation. Messenger behavior. Item 2. Did not distinguish stated blocker from underlying technical root cause. Item 3. Decision authority abdicated upward. No evidence of program ownership instinct. Item 4. No structured trade-off analysis. Scope, timeline, and risk unquantified. Verdict. Does not demonstrate general cognitive ability. Same question, same 10-week gap. Listen to how this candidate takes ownership from the first sentence.
As soon as I hear that number, I'm not scheduling a stakeholder update. I'm getting 30 minutes with the engineering lead to separate the stated ask from the real blocker. 9 weeks of that gap is usually not all critical path. I'd map which of the remaining work is launch blocking versus what can ship in a fast follow, then stress test a minimum viable scope that could still meet the committed date. I'd go to leadership with 3 options, each with a clear trade-off on scope, date, and customer impact, and a specific recommendation. My recommendation would be the partial launch. Ship the core flow on the original date, document the known gaps, and commit to a 3-week follow-on. I own that recommendation. Leadership decides, but I walk in with a position.
Immediately disaggregates the blocker. Critical path versus total ask. Structures options with explicit scope, date, and customer impact trade-offs. Walks into escalation with a recommendation, not a status update. Names a specific mechanism. Partial launch with a follow-on commitment. Notice what changed. The candidate never became a messenger. Item 1. Separated stated blocker from critical path reality before any escalation. Item 2. Structured 3 options with trade-offs across scope, date, and customer impact. Item 3. Entered leadership discussion with a specific owned recommendation. Item 4. Demonstrated program ownership instinct. Decision-maker posture throughout. Verdict, strong signal, strong hire. Before your loop, run your answer through these 3 questions. 1. Do you diagnose the real blocker before you escalate anything? If not, you're reporting a symptom. The hiring committee member sees a messenger, not a TPM. 2. Do your options each carry an explicit trade-off? Scope, date, and risk? A list of options without trade-offs isn't analysis. It's a menu you're handing someone else. 3. Do you walk into the escalation with a specific recommendation you own? If you're asking leadership what to do, you've already signaled you can't operate at this level. General cognitive ability at Google is not about knowing what questions to ask. It's about arriving with the answer. How do your real stories score? Get a personalized report scored against the interview rubric Google uses for your role. Go to interview101.com and find out before your loop does.